Orlando, Florida, the Sunshine State, known for its beautiful beaches, vibrant nightlife, and a place where dreams come true. It's a city that never sleeps, filled with tourists and locals alike, all basking in the warmth of the sun and the excitement of the attractions. A place known for its warmth and vibrant life. The streets are always bustling with activity, from the early morning joggers to the late-night revelers. It's a city that exudes energy and life, a perfect backdrop for any love story. But behind the facade of paradise, a darkness was festering. In the shadows of the bright lights and sunny days, there were secrets that no one could have imagined. Secrets that would soon come to light in the most tragic of ways. Pastor Sylvester Ofori, a charismatic leader at his church, seemed to have it all. His sermons were filled with passion and conviction, drawing in crowds from all over the city. He was a man of faith, a beacon of hope for his congregation, a beautiful wife, Barbara Tommy, and a growing family. Together, they were the picture of happiness, always smiling, always together. Their love was evident to anyone who saw them, a love that seemed unbreakable. They were the epitome of success, their lives seemingly blessed. They had everything anyone could ever want: love, family, and a strong community. Their home was filled with laughter and joy, a sanctuary from the outside world. Barbara, radiant and full of life, was the picture of grace and kindness. She was loved by everyone who knew her warmth and generosity touching the lives of many. She was a devoted wife, a loving mother, and a cherished friend. Her infectious smile could light up a room, and her unwavering faith inspired those around her. She was a pillar of strength, always there to lend a helping hand or a comforting word. Her presence was a blessing to all who knew her. Their love story seemed like something out of a fairy tale. They were the perfect couple, their love growing stronger with each passing day. They had dreams and plans for the future, a future that seemed bright and full of promise. A devoted pastor and his loving wife building a life together. They were partners in every sense of the word, supporting each other through thick and thin. Their bond was unbreakable, or so it seemed. Their social media was a highlight reel of their seemingly perfect life. Every post was a testament to their love and happiness, a glimpse into their idyllic world. They were the envy of many, their lives appearing flawless to the outside world. Pictures of family vacations, date nights, and spiritual gatherings painted a picture of happiness and unity. They were always together, always smiling, always in love. Their life was a dream come true, or so it seemed. Little did anyone know a sinister secret lurked beneath the surface, threatening to shatter their idyllic world. Behind the smiles and the happy photos there was a darkness that no one could see. A darkness that was slowly creeping in, ready to destroy everything in its path. But, as we all know, appearances can be deceiving. What looks perfect on the outside can be hiding unimaginable pain and suffering on the inside. And in this case, the truth was far more horrifying than anyone could have ever imagined. And in this story, the truth would soon unravel, revealing a horrifying reality. A reality that would shock everyone who knew them, a reality that would leave a community in mourning and a family in pieces, a reality that would leave a community in shock and a family shattered. The pain and grief would be felt by all, a tragic reminder of the darkness that can hide behind even the brightest of smiles. This is a story of love and betrayal, of faith and deceit, and ultimately of a tragedy that could have been prevented. A story that serves as a stark reminder that sometimes the most perfect of facades can hide the most devastating of secrets. Whispers began to circulate. Something wasn't right in the Ofori household. The smiles seemed strained, the joy forced. Behind closed doors, a storm was brewing. A storm fueled by anger, control, and a shocking discovery that would change everything. The truth, when it emerged, was like a punch to the gut. A DNA test, the details of which remained shrouded in mystery, revealed a truth that shook the foundation of their marriage. The paternity of their children, a sacred bond, was now in question. The revelation sent shockwaves through their family and the church community. How could this seemingly perfect couple, held up as an example of faith and love, be harboring such a secret? The betrayal cut deep, leaving Barbara reeling from the emotional blow. The man she trusted, the father of her children, had been living a lie. The weight of this discovery pressed down upon their marriage. The once unbreakable bond was now fractured, the love they shared replaced with suspicion and doubt. This revelation, kept secret from the public eye, marked a turning point in their relationship, setting in motion a chain of events that would lead to unimaginable tragedy. As the facade of their perfect life crumbled, a darker truth emerged. The whispers grew louder, revealing a history of domestic abuse that had plagued the Ofori marriage for years. Barbara, strong and resilient, had suffered in silence, hiding the pain behind a mask of normalcy. Family members and close friends noticed the signs. A bruise concealed beneath makeup, a flinch at a sudden movement, a change in Barbara's usually vibrant demeanor. They knew something was wrong, but the extent of the abuse remained hidden from the public eye. She was always so full of life, a close friend shared. Her voice choked with emotion. But behind her smile I could see the fear in her eyes. I knew she was hurting. Barbara, trapped in a cycle of abuse, felt isolated and alone. The man she had vowed to love and cherish had become her tormentor. Fear, like a dark cloud, hung over Barbara's life. Fear for her safety, fear for her children, fear for her future. The abuse, both physical and emotional, chipped away at her spirit, leaving her feeling lost and broken. But amidst the darkness, a flicker of hope remained, a hope for a better life, free from the clutches of her abuser. Section 4. Days of Terror, a desperate attempt for freedom. Realizing the gravity of her situation, Barbara found the strength to make a decision. She had endured years of emotional and physical abuse, and the weight of her suffering had become unbearable. The thought of leaving Ofori was terrifying, but the thought of staying was even more so. She knew that if she didn't act now, she might never have another chance. She would leave Ofori and seek a life free from abuse. The decision was not made lightly. It was a culmination of countless sleepless nights and endless tears. Barbara packed her suitcase with trembling hands, each item a symbol of her resolve to reclaim her life. She confided in her family, their support becoming her lifeline in this terrifying ordeal. Her family had always suspected something was wrong, but hearing the full extent of her suffering left them heartbroken. They rallied around her, offering not just emotional support but also a safe place to stay and a plan to escape. Leaving an abuser is never easy. The fear of the unknown, the potential for retaliation, and the emotional scars make it a daunting task. Barbara knew that Ofori would not let her go easily. She had to be careful, strategic, and above all, brave. It takes immense courage and resilience. Barbara had both, but she also had something else. A burning desire for freedom. She was determined to break the chains that had bound her for so long, to breathe freely and live without fear. For Barbara, the stakes were even higher. She was not just leaving an abusive partner, she was leaving a man who held significant power and influence. Ofori was respected and feared in their community, a man whose public persona was a stark contrast to his private cruelty. She was leaving a man in a position of power, a man who commanded the respect and adoration of their community. This made her decision even more dangerous. She knew that many would not believe her, that they would side with Ofori and dismiss her claims as lies. A man who, in a twisted sense, believed he was above the law. Ofori's arrogance and sense of invincibility made him even more dangerous. He believed that his status would protect him from any consequences, that he could do as he pleased without fear of retribution. Her brother Perry became her rock. He had always been protective of Barbara, but now his determination to keep her safe was unwavering. He knew the risks, but he also knew that his sister's life was at stake. He vowed to protect his sister, to help her escape the clutches of her abuser. Together, they spent countless hours planning every detail of her escape, from the timing to the route they would take. Perry's support gave Barbara the strength she needed to move forward. Together, they devised a plan to retrieve her belongings from the home she once shared with Ofori. It was a risky move, but Barbara needed her personal items, not just for practical reasons, but also as a way to reclaim her identity and her life. Little did they know, they were walking into a lion's den. Ofori's unpredictable nature made every step fraught with danger. They had to be quick and cautious, knowing that any misstep could lead to a violent confrontation. The tension was palpable as they arrived at the house. Every creak of the floorboards, every shadow seemed to hold a threat. Barbara's heart pounded in her chest as she approached the door, her mind racing with what-ifs. The air was thick with fear and uncertainty. They knew that Ofori could return at any moment, and the thought of facing his wrath was almost paralyzing. But they pressed on, driven by the need to complete their mission. As Barbara gathered her belongings, Ofori's true nature surfaced. The man who had once charmed her with sweet words and promises was now a monster, his mask of civility completely shattered. He became enraged, his words laced with venom and threats. His fury was a terrifying reminder of the danger Barbara had lived with for so long. His threats were not empty, they were promises of violence and retribution. A chilling video, later released by Barbara's family, captured the terrifying encounter. The footage showed Ofori's true colors, his rage and his threats laid bare for all to see. It was a stark contrast to the image he projected to the world. "If I don't kill your sister," Ofori seethed, his eyes blazing with rage, "then I am fake." His words were a chilling premonition of the tragedy to come. They were a stark reminder of the danger Barbara faced, and the lengths Ofori would go to maintain his control. His words, a chilling premonition of the tragedy to come. The encounter was a turning point, a moment that underscored the gravity of Barbara's situation. It was a stark reminder that her fight for freedom was far from over, and that the road ahead would be fraught with danger and uncertainty. Section 5. The Ultimate Betrayal, a Life Stolen in Broad Daylight. On September 8, 2020, the unthinkable happened. It was a day like any other, or so it seemed. The sun rose, people went about their daily routines, and the world continued to turn. But for one community, everything was about to change in the most tragic way imaginable. The world stood still as news spread like wildfire through the community. Phones rang incessantly, social media buzzed with disbelief, and the air was thick with a sense of dread. It was as if time itself had paused to acknowledge the gravity of the situation. Barbara Tommy, the vibrant, loving mother and friend, was gone. She was a beacon of light, known for her infectious smile and her unwavering kindness. Her family and friends were left to grapple with an unimaginable loss, a void that could never be filled. Her life tragically cut short in a senseless act of violence. The community gathered, holding candlelight vigils, sharing stories of her generosity and warmth. They sought solace in each other, trying to make sense of the senseless. The details of that fateful day are etched in the minds of those who loved Barbara. Every moment, every second replayed over and over, a haunting reminder of what was lost. The pain was palpable, a heavy burden that weighed on the hearts of all who knew her. Ofori, consumed by rage and jealousy, lay in wait outside her workplace. His mind twisted by dark thoughts, he was a man on the edge, ready to commit an unthinkable act. The shadows seemed to close in around him as he waited, his heart pounding with a deadly resolve. As Barbara arrived for work, unaware of the danger that lurked nearby, Ofori struck. She was just beginning her day, her mind likely filled with thoughts of her tasks ahead, completely oblivious to the threat that was about to shatter her world. He approached her, gun in hand, and fired 7 shots, each bullet a cruel punctuation mark in a story that should have been filled with love and laughter. The sound of gunfire echoed, a chilling symphony of violence that would forever change the lives of those who heard it. 7 bullets that silenced a bright light, leaving behind a void that could never be filled. Barbara's smile, her laughter, her very essence, extinguished in an instant. The world felt a little darker, a little colder, without her presence. Witnesses watched in horror as Ofori fled the scene, leaving Barbara lying in a pool of her own blood. The shock and disbelief were overwhelming, a nightmare unfolding before their eyes. They were left to grapple with the reality of what they had just witnessed. The sounds of gunshots echoed through the air, forever shattering the peace of that ordinary Tuesday morning. The tranquility of the day was replaced by chaos and fear, a stark contrast to the normalcy that had existed just moments before. Paramedics arrived, their desperate attempts to save Barbara proving futile. They worked tirelessly, their faces etched with determination and sorrow, but it was too late. The life they were trying to save had already slipped away. She was pronounced dead at the scene. The finality of those words hung heavy in the air, a stark reminder of the fragility of life. The world had lost a beautiful soul, and nothing would ever be the same again. News of Barbara's murder sent shockwaves of grief and disbelief throughout the community. How could this happen? How could such a vibrant life be snuffed out so suddenly, so violently? The questions were endless, the answers elusive. How could a man of God, a pastor sworn to preach love and compassion, commit such a heinous act? The betrayal was profound, a dark stain on the fabric of their faith. The community was left to reconcile the image of the man they thought they knew with the monster he had become. The questions swirled, unanswered as the community grappled with the enormity of their loss. They came together, seeking comfort in their shared grief, trying to find a way to move forward, but the shadow of that day would linger, a constant reminder of the life stolen in broad daylight.